Hello, everybody. Hello, Rainbow Kappa. Welcome on in. Thank you for redeeming Put on the Hat. Hello, Tech. Ooh, I got red in here. I hope you guys have had an excellent Monday. We are going to definitely jump into some Spyro here in just a minute. Rainbow, thank you for redeeming Sip the Beverage. Sorry I'm late. I had to take my daughter to piano lessons tonight due to some unforeseen circumstances on my part. So what I want to do is this is probably more for me than anybody. If Nate is here, he might get a kick out of it, and maybe we'll make some form of progress with all of it. But it's probably going to mean absolutely nothing, but it's my way of getting what's now in here documented someplace that I could go back and watch or look through, or at least rethink through everything that I've thought through, because yeah, I'm documenting my thoughts. So I'm gonna start with well, apparently a broken screen. Let's go back to that screen for a moment while I get this started. But how's everybody's day today? Have there been any announcements regarding a new pre-order date, out of curiosity, that anybody has seen? I didn't check all that closely today, but it's been 2 weeks. Also not to your knowledge? Okay, fair enough. I suppose as the world is still crazy, so maybe we won't find anything out for a while yet. Okay, let's try this again. Desktop mode. Okay, so I took a step back a little bit, and I said, what do I know about these crazy magic bands? And what I knew was two things. One, that the Discover packet determines everything that works after that. And well, that was pretty much it. That was the thing I knew. And I was trying to figure out how the Discover packet got made and how the Discover packet got interpreted and who's doing what. Like, why is it that sending this one packet unlocks everything that comes later on? And what about the packet unlocks everything that comes later on? And why is it not consistent? Like, we don't get identical packets every single time. So what I ended up doing is what we're looking at here is the JSON representation of two very specific packets. This one right here is the thing that comes from the phone and goes to the Magic Band that makes it magically work. So that is that one. This is the response that comes from the Magic Band. And I have another one down here. This is what gets sent for a play animation, or at least part of what gets sent for a play animation. And so I was looking at these specifically with that knowledge, and I started going down the paths for how things were built. And I actually, and I wonder if I still have this open, because if I do, I will put it on stream. It does not look like I have it readily available. I ended up stumbling into a function for building the discovery node, this node right here. And it was interesting because when I got there, and I had never, like, today was the first time I'd ever gone down this particular packet, I discovered that this was hard-coded. This was hard-coded, meaning it's when it runs that function, that's going to get spit out every single time. This is hard-coded. This is hard-coded. This message ID is even hard-coded, which is kind of intriguing, that it's always this one code. This is the only one that comes in from a variable, which is somewhat interesting. And this one is hard-coded. So these 4 of the 5 values in this portion of the message are hard-coded, such that you could copy and paste them from the source code, right? Like they're literally embedded in the source code. I didn't go all the way down the path with all of this stuff because that got a little bit more challenging. But what that made me realize was this right here, which is the thing getting returned from the message above, happens to be in the message above. And I haven't tested this theory. It's on the list of things to test. In fact, I should put this on here. Test if the discovery response always comes back the same as string 4 in the discover packet. And the reason I should test that is I believe that should happen because that appears to be a session ID based on the code and the documentation. Okay, so that was something that I had not locked down prior to today, and I believe I have locked that down to a level. I mean, it should be tested, but I believe I have locked it down to a level of near certainty that that is what this particular value is. Which means theoretically I've narrowed it down to this one and this one in terms of which one of the two values is making my life good versus making my life bad. Hey Charles, how's it going? And so I'm going to talk through what I'm seeing and what I've been trying to see and all of this other fun stuff at a very, very top level. And again, it's mostly so that I can point myself in the right direction when I go back to look at this stuff. But the part that has me a little bit more confused, and this is kind of where I've been playing with it, is we know that one of these two values has an impact, but as far as I can tell, it's not really going out of its way to make that impact known. And so let me just, like I said, I'm just going to keep talking. So this function right here, create parse directive from stream, is the thing that parses through the incoming packet. And I even took notes here. So the stream is the raw data. The parse directive is an array. And I figured out that the array is broken into 3 pieces, where 0 is the header, 1 is the endpoint definitions, and 2 is the payload. And looking at this, I am 99% certain this is the header and this is the endpoint, and there is no payload for this particular packet. It might be that I'm wrong, that this is the endpoint pointer, and instead that this is in fact the payload. That is possible as well, but regardless, the thing that matters is that parse directive 0 is our header, and parse directive 1 and or 2 is the other thing, right? So there's only 2 possibilities: header, something else, right? So if we go back to here, that array gets put into a variable, if you will. And we're saying that 0, which again was our header, goes to ivar1. And the function here also returns, actually, I don't know that I documented that, but I'm assuming it just returns either 0 for a failure or something else for, returning anything else will be a success for the most part. So we get here, I labeled the label. If it failed to parse the file, it'll jump to there. And then it checks it again for alexa.discovery, which you'll note that it's checking 24.0 plus 4, which the plus 4, I think, is what gets us to here, specifically. I don't entirely know that for certain, but that's how I've been interpreting. Like, plus 8 is the next one or whatever, and on and down the line. If we do the same thing, ivar1 is also local 48.0, so here we have plus C, so 12. So again, my pointer math is wrong here, but that ends up being the discover. So we end up getting to the discover here, and then the part that frustrates me at this point, and this is where things get really confusing, is if it was me and I was writing this code, you would think the natural thing to do would be to now validate the data that you've parsed in. But that is not what happens. In fact, I'm pretty certain I could send whatever I want. And again, this is something I should add to my test list. Test to confirm you can send anything you want into param 3, 4, and string 1 and still get a response. Because based on this, as long as it says alexa.discovery and discover, it's gonna go to this line of code, which is the, hey, send discovery response. Okay, so between here and here, we don't do anything with the data that's been parsed. And I'm 90, I should add this, other than stick it in memory, which the fact that it gets stuck in memory is not lost on me. I am aware that it's there, which is part of the reason why this becomes a little bit of a pain. But we get to here, it sends the response no matter what happens. We get another variable that again can be a success or a failure. And again, if it's a success, we jump to cleanup time, which is down here. It does garbage cleanup, and then sends us back. But the part that so when I say it sends us back, and actually, I now need to think about that. It gets down here. That's returning for process directive. So what's weird about all of that, and there is a whole lot more code here, but all the other code that comes after that point, after the sending discovery point, all the other code that comes after in this function has to do with handling other things. Nothing, and again, I cannot stress this enough, nothing deals with handling this or this, as far as I can tell, anywhere at this point in time. Now, we should figure out what calls process directive and go backwards to it, because that's, and know that it's returning local 28.0, which local 28. What is local 28 in this case? This is what I get for talking, because now my brain wants to talk through all of this. Local 28 0 is 0. Until when? Local 48, param 1, param 2. Local 28 right here becomes the value of ivar1. So it is 0, because it had to be 0 to go to cleanup time. That's a weird... Why do this? Huh. So it goes down here, and then, so it's going to end up returning, we'll just say it returns 0, because that's, I guess, what it does, in a weird way. So, that's process directive. We gotta see, so this is what calls process directive, right? Or we get directive. Nope, I'm in the wrong spot. Get directive command. We're in process directive again. What if we look here and we get the references real quick? So this as a reference to here. Process directive. Okay. Which is in a function we don't have labeled. So I think in my flow of things, this is now where I'm hanging out, or I need to hang out. Interesting. There's an iterator here. What is this? Go to lab. So it jumps. So this is going to be 0. ivar2 is not equal to -4. ivar2 is equal to 0. It's already 0. So if there's not a specific error, ivar2. So then we get to here. That jumps us down to the bottom, which calls this param with param1. Which happens to be the same as param1 up there. And that's memory management stuff. So it's freeing up its stack resources. So again, there's still nothing that seems to indicate where this data is going. Now maybe we run through this one more time with special eye to the DATs. So let's rename this real quick. I just want to rename it, and I'm just going to call it G counter because it looks like it's a global counter of some sort. It's interesting though. So we jump into process directive. I'm just going to talk through everything because the more I do this, the more I talk. We initialize a bunch of variables. This right here is us initializing. Local 48, which I have not labeled, is the buffer for the PB. Local 24 now has me curious, so I will look into that, I guess, maybe possibly as we're talking through this. We then go into parse the directive from the stream. We send in local 48 as our return variable. Param 3 is the stream, it's the text. So we go into there, we've got the stream, we got the parse directive, and we take in the data and we pop it in to where we zero out 0, 1, and 2. Then this is setting up nano PB essentially behind the scenes to parse it out. And then we decode tag by tag. This is like wire values and stuff like that. I had, like, if I jump into here, I have like this figured out, input stream, wire nums, all that fun stuff. We don't need to go that deep. Comes back. If the directives are not equal to 0, then we should be getting an error for multiple directives, which shouldn't happen. But the fact that this is a 1 tells me that the directive line needs to be there. So I think oh, that's interesting. If create parse directive from stream multiple endpoints in directive. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this, because this can't possibly be... Oh, because it'll loop. So the first time it gets populated, which is right here, we never want to do that again. Yeah, okay, so it should only happen once. And there's essentially a switch statement in here to figure out which way we need to go. So we've got a decoder, and then the other one is the payload, right? Decoder payload. Are there any DATs in here, though? That's what I wanted to see. Particularly, there's one there, but that's a pointer. What I was trying to see is if maybe as they're pulling some of this data in, they drop it someplace that makes sense, but they don't. There is no check. And this is where I get... Oh, right here. This is the one that actually did interest me. So I want to talk through that one a little bit. So decoder, decode, payload. So we're in the payload decoder. And then there's this one function that I was going through. So let's just look at this. Local 78 is what? Local 78, decode endpoint, local 78. Where are you, local 78? What are you? You're right there. You're undefined. Local 78. So that's... Actually, I can look right here. What is local 78? So that's the input stream. So the data, the raw data is local 78. AU stack 68. Must be the stack pointer for whatever it is that we're looking at. So this decodes payload. I don't know. I've probably lost everybody that's watching, which, like I said, this was kind of for my own merits, but my own documentation. So if I forget what I'm doing a week from now, I can come back and watch this thing. I didn't mean like you disappeared. I meant I lost you in terms of what was going on in the programming. Not that you were ever in it to begin with, for all I know. This is curious, though. I don't know that I had noticed these before. Imagine coding, but the background music is the third movement of summer. So I'm not writing any code right now. How's it going, Squeezy? Is this... What is that word? 422B1. Why does that sound familiar? It's checking for a static value. IO error. End of stream. That's end of file. Decode payload. If local 14 equals this, then return. If OX10 is less than param, what is this? If it's less than 16, jump to here. The implication... Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep going anymore then. Because it feels... I mean, it looks like it's just trying to read 16 bytes at a time. Well, I'll fire up Spyro at this point. I think I keep staring at things and still not understand. I don't know. It really, for lack of a better way of saying it, it really irks me in this reverse engineering stuff that I'm stuck right here. Like, I feel on one hand like we are so close to having it figured out, and it's like right there, right, and I just can't make the last leap to what I need it to be. So, but it's weird that nothing looks like it checks it and nothing looks like it sets it. So why is it having as big of an impact on everything we're doing? That's the piece of the puzzle that I'm not figuring out. We actually not beat this level yet, technically? I know we were playing it last night. Maybe we weren't playing this level. Maybe we were playing... No, we were playing this one. It's definitely this one. Oh, I think we found like a hidden level inside it, is what it is. So we didn't actually finish the level. I should change the status to Spyro. So how's everybody else's Monday? Anything fun and exciting? New? Different? Or was it just a regular run-of-the-mill Monday? It was fine? Fine is good. Do. Do. Do you think most of the people watching would classify themselves as introverts? I have a reason for asking. It's kind of a weird question, but... Unsure? My, someone I know, I'll leave it that way. Someone I know, got left out of something, and they weren't happy about it today. And I was just finding it interesting that, and maybe there was a coping mechanism or something that was involved, but I, generally when people leave me out of things, I find that to be a good thing. It's my introvertness that I don't want to be doing other things. But, oh, look at it, it's a 2D game now. Ow. Ow. Oh, there we go. It's taking up lives. I really hope not. It looks like it, though. I don't know. It was just kind of a weird question. They do act differently online. This is true. I'm probably in that camp as well. Although, I don't think I'm that much different online than I am in real life. But maybe I am. I don't wear a Mario hat in real life. So that's something. Why is this so hard for me? I don't get it. Maybe I should leave this before I lose all my lives to jumping. Hey, Super Mario, thanks for the 27 months, man. Appreciate it. We need new emotes. Neither Link nor Eloise looks like that anymore. It's a new record. It's going well. How about yours? You having a good Monday? I found today to be one of those days where time was moving faster than it should be allowed to move. I want the free... There we go. Oh, good, we made it. Get me out of this mode. It's been alright. Been playing any good video games lately? Or building any good video games lately? I stopped by the CNR Discord the other day. I didn't say anything, but it looked like, I don't know, a little on the quiet side. Is that liquid poisonous? She cannot swim. It might also be poisonous. I don't know. It might be both. Hey, we did it. You are making progress? Okay. Very cool. We're gonna end up saying, like, CNR 3, 10 years in the making. Oh, Spyro. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Okay, we're not going back that way. Maybe we should. I changed my mind. I think we should go this way. Now we could go back that way and get the key, which is what I was trying to do before, but that just about got me killed again, so let's not do that. And over there. Apparently we can't... Oh, we could land there. I feel like I can't make that jump. But I did. Okay, found another egg. Yep, that's just fine, Super Mario. Have a good evening. Stay healthy. Stay safe, as they say. Maybe it's as I say. I don't know. Do-do-do. Nelly. Sometimes I wish I lived in Scotland or wherever Loch Ness is, if I'm wrong about that, so I could be a Nelly hunter. Somebody trying to prove that the Loch Ness monster exists. I don't know why, I just think it sounds fun. Seems like a fun hobby. Do-do-do. I think I'm going every way but the direction I need to go. Maybe we were supposed to go in here and... I don't understand why fire hurts Spyro as much as it does. I also don't understand how I got hit 3 times there. That was not cool. Heal me. Ah, blizzard. Ooh, there's a extra life up there. If we can figure out how to get up there. Up and around, maybe? So last time we did this, we went up there. This time, let's go this way. Hi, who are you?
Well, look at you. Showing up here to raid the tomb after I've done all the hard work. I've spent all day pressing switches and shoving boxes around, and you just waltz in here expecting to claim the treasure? Well, you might as well have it. It's only a lousy egg anyway.
Yeah. Hey, we got all the eggs. Close are we on gems? Oh, we got a long ways to go on gems. Let's see what's in here. Not a whole lot. Let's see what's over here. Well, we got all the eggs, so let's find a new level. Do. Okay. Let's see. We'll do that. Haunted Tomb. We've been there? I don't think so. Cool. New level. And it sounds scary. Do.
Yet another daredevil adventurer has come to rob our catacombs of loot.
Yes, Snoopy.
Let's just hope you're made of tougher stuff than the last guy. If you can survive the trials of our catacombs and answer my riddle, we will give you a prize befitting your efforts. Here is my riddle. I am a vessel without hinges, lock, or lid. Yet, within my walls, a golden treasure is hid. What am I?
I am a vessel without hinges, lock, or lid. Yet within my walls, a golden treasure is hid. Huh. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. was never very good at riddles. Do-do-do. Where do people hide their golden treasures? Door eventually close? Yep, okay. That allows you to reopen. Okay. Do-do-do. Guy's got fireballs. Kinda looks like Mario. I don't think I can hurt him. Curious. This is a just run past the bad guy type thing. Wow, this place is rough. Get out of here. Do-do-do. If I was a door with a button... It's right there. Button's right there. Run! Okay, it feels like we just gotta run straight through, right? Avoid the shadows on the ground. Looks like it worked out. Fireball guy. Oh, great. Running again. I don't see a way to kill these guys. And we're back. Oh, I didn't get the butterfly. There's a slide over there? Okay, what move am I forgetting that I can use to get rid of the bad guys? That is the question. Also, can I swim in that? Probably not. Hey, Nate. Sounds good. You'd probably enjoy the first 30 minutes of stream more than this anyway, but yeah. You stop by a little later, let me know. But have a good evening. How do we get the fireball guys? Try running again. And we're dead. Do. I don't have like the wind thingy, so I can't make the fireballs go back at him. Oh, I got an egg. Oh, weird. Is it actually the same door? We're gonna find out. It is. That's a little weird. Mm-hmm. Don't know where I am, but we're here.
The first round of the annual demolition hovercraft competition. is about
Demolition
to
hovercraft? I like it.
There is room for one more contestant, but you'll have. The riddle is this. If one dragon can lay one egg in 12 years, how long would it take for 100 dragons to lay 100 eggs?
It's still 12 years.
Very impressive. That is
A, straight shot, lob shot. Straight shot, lob shot, dodge. Okay. Oh, that was fast. Wonder if I actually died with that. Two lives is what I'm at.
the first round of the riddle is very impressive.
Got one. This is how I do this without dying. Just game the system. That didn't count. That's two. Should be right there. Right inside the hitbox. Come on, let's do it. A little to the left. Go a little to the right. Come on. That guy's a little better protected. Oh, I think we got him. Nice. A little better protected than the other ones were. And we got him too. Yay!
Well, that was a fierce battle indeed. Please accept
Okay.
this
We'll see if I can make that work for you, Cassandra. I'm disappointed that Disney still hasn't found my magic band. I had high hopes.
Enter the championship round. However, this is an
Well, let's try one more.
such a
Yeah, I'll figure something out. Did you send me your address, Cassandra? Like, should I still... I just send it directly to you? Because it costs the same to send it either way, right? Such a cheater. Come on. Back up a little bit more. I did see, and I mentioned this yesterday, I think on stream, Paper did release their first 125 updates. In fact, I think they're already 18 patches in or something like that for the new version. I'm going to wait just a little bit longer before I upgrade MCOT, but I would imagine it's going to be this week that we'll get an update to MCOT. I gotta run some tests and make a good backup, and I mean, we have good backups, but a snapshot, if you will. Yeah, there's one. Still don't have... There's two right here. Come on. Can't quite get the hitbox on that one. Oh, we got him. I feel like if I time it right, I can actually, like, avoid the cauldron and it goes right through. Pixel perfect, come on. There isn't one, it looks like, behind there. Is there one, like, way over there? Should we be aiming straight ahead? Gotta get this guy. Going to cheese the entire game. I don't have enough lives to waste on a game. It's too bad they don't bounce. Got him. So if I cross this line, are they all going to activate? That's the next question. Let's find out. More than one over here? Doesn't look like it. Oh, just shoot him. Okay, from here, what kind of angles we got? There's still one over there. Is there a fish in the water? Okay, we're just gonna drive over there. Things are kind of slow. On one hand, I appreciate that. Oh, there's one guy just standing out all by himself, way over there. Come on, we gotta have the angle. Got him. Now, last but not least, there's one over there behind that. We're gonna try to go over here and shoot at an angle and see what happens. Plus, we get a butterfly. Do. It's not a great angle. Let's just go attack head on. We should be okay. Or we could try right here. Do. Got him. That was cheesy. Alright, how many eggs are in this game?
I see you've managed to survive the trials of the catacombs. Now I am a vessel without hinges, lock or lid. Yet within my walls, a golden...
I feel like the answer is an egg. A bandicoot.
Have you heard that one before? I never thought you'd get it. Very well, a bargain.
Do.
I've waited 7,000 years for someone to solve that riddle. Now I can finally head off the seashell shore to bury some bones.
So, weird life objective, I guess. But, you know, he's a dog after all. Do I take this slide knowing that... No. I don't think I have a choice now. You can always exit level, though. Oh, he didn't turn. Lame. 8:30. Do. I don't know if I talked about this. Link went to a card trade show, a Pokemon card trade show on Saturday. Came home with $300 in cash and about $500 in other Pokemon cards that he traded for, which I think is crazy. I mean, it means he gave up $800 of cards, but still, crazy. How much his cards are going for. Some of his cards, at least. Free short. Ooh, there's one. Oh, we've been here before. So Cassandra, maybe you're making a good investment. Popularity of the app, like the Pokemon card game app. I don't even know if he uses that at all. But I mean, it'll, you know, it ebbs and flows quite a bit. And I'm sure with the upcoming, like, every time there's a new pack, things go up, but yeah. Oh, I could imagine that being the case. They'll have the new ZA Pokemon game or whatever, though. That'll bring some life, I think. Would be my guess anyway. It goes in cycles. But it makes me, like, and this feels a little scammy, but it makes me want to go garage sailing in May and, like, go looking specifically for Pokemon cards. And not, like, specifics. Like, I'll just go buy a whole bunch of bulk stuff and process it and see what I find and all of that. But I feel like people won't know the value of their cards. But maybe that's just me.
Well, Spyro. Look what...
Release him.
You... I'm free! Thanks, Spyro. Ooh, say, you ever see a bear dance?
No?
Well, it's your lucky day. Check this out. Quite the dancer, isn't he? Not much stamina, though. Too bad I had a lot more ammo left. Anyway, I heard all about how you've been fighting the sorceress and her armies and kicking all that butt, and I just wanted to say, huzzah! Yippee! Woohoo! Wish you could stay, but my homeworld's been overrun by Rhinox since I've been captured. If you happen to see the sorceress, tell her I'll be giving her dancing lessons real soon. Know what I mean? You bet. Later!
Well, I suppose you should check out this new character. Do.
What was that? Did you see a Rhinox? I thought I saw a Rhinox.
Okay, this guy talks too much. No.
Agent 9, my favorite pupil. What?
Just ignore the rules. Okay, so it's first-person shooter, third-person shooter. This stuff bounces. Give me an egg for breaking all the targets. Oh, that didn't work out. Do he have any special moves? I suppose he has the target lock. Doesn't look like it though. At least not that we've gotten so far. Maybe we'll get like a... Can we charge it? No. You gonna tell me what I need to know, Doc?
Number of Rhinox are waiting to ambush us as soon as I lower this force field. I expect.
Okay, shoot the red panic button.
Indicators show that a bunch of Rhinox are hiding behind the display screen. I'll switch on the view pedestal, and you shoot.
Oh, that's sniper mode. Not great.
Try not to fall.
Not that bad. Do.
These indicators show that a...
Am I losing a life when this happens? Aim for the gun.
You cleared them out. Let's see what kind of shape.
Some interesting source code up there. No. I think it's supposed to be math. Physics, to be exact. Ooh, some vector matrix math. Gaussian row elimination.
Just as I thought, the machine room is overrun with birds.
Birds?
To target the birds in their nests, you'll want to use sniper mode, then zoom in for pinpoint accuracy.
That looked like there were two birds in that one. Oh, I wasn't wrong.
Nice work, Agent 9. I'm not sure.
A dragon egg.
Now I can switch the gravitonometric generator back on.
Looks like more birds. And like little cheese to show them how it's done.
The lab's clear, and it smells better in here already.
Do. Let's see, where are we headed? There are two doors. Do. What do we need to know here?
By my calculations, the bombs in this handy...
Bombs, eh? Do. Oh, interesting. I can throw it really far. Now, careful, they bounce back to you, it looks like.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. I don't think I'm a fan of this character. I mean, it's not bad, it's just... It's just a little sloppy on the mechanics, I think. I also don't like controller aim. I never have. Nice. lot of bombs to try to hit targets that are moving. Oh, cool. You can get rid of pineapple, though. Just trying to have fun on the lake, and what am I out here doing? Ruining their good time. Time and effort they put into the animations on these characters, I tell you. I mean, look at that. Got the flip, got all of it. Three of 3 eggs. Oh, we picked up a guy, maybe? Something we could really use. Do. Okay. Not too shabby. I need to find, like, a cheesy way to get a bunch of extra lives. Because I think I'm a little on the low side. Do. Do. Look at the guidebook and see what World 1 looks like. I mean, we have all the eggs, except for, I guess we don't have the world eggs. Let's go get those. Maybe while we're at it, we'll get a few guys, if we're lucky. Do. Probably won't go too much longer tonight. I know I started late, but learn gliding. One right there. Sheep. Okay, so you can get extra lives by eating the sheep. I wasn't sure how that worked.
Your game camera is currently, if you like. Okay, I won't change. Learn to glide. How do we get to that one?
Doesn't really feel like a glide from anywhere that makes sense over here. Here, let's just use this guy to target gems, and then we'll eventually find what we're looking for. Ooh, there's a life. Down and in the ground. Oh, maybe right here. So we fly to the tiger and then fly around. Gosh.
I saw something shiny in that. Oh, I almost.
Oh, look it, an egg. Do do do. What do you want to say? It's a power-up. Sure, there's something I can only do in here by flying, but cross that bridge in a minute. Things I missed at the beginning of the game, I tell you. Moving too fast. Where does it look like I can go? Guess we'll have to find out with wings. Hey, we got all the gems. No, that wasn't where I wanted to go. There's gonna be an egg in here somewhere. Right up here. Oh, I just about missed it. Do. Let's see what else is in here. Head bash the rock. Probably not that rock. Probably not this rock. What rock needs to be head bashed? Probably not that rock. Maybe this rock? Nope. How about that rock? This is a very stubborn rock. Wonder if maybe his
Spyro, I found an egg, but only Sparks will be able to reach it. There's a small hole that leads to a crawdad farm.
Oh, this is one we can do now. We couldn't. I didn't think we could do it before.
Hello, Sparks. Before you take on those nasty crawdads, I should give you some help. To start, let's practice shooting. press the attack button to shoot these targets.
Oh, it's like Space Invaders. Or, no, not Space Invaders. I like it, though.
You can
What did she say? Head bash them? Is that what they said?
Now for the hard part. Being a maneuverable dragonfly, you can also strafe in any direction.
That's kind of fun.
On your travels, you'll notice butterflies that give you health, just like in the dragon world. Not only that,
You're on your own now. Wait, was that the whole level?
you'll be able to deal with these guys much faster if you use a power-up. Just eat any power-up butterfly, then press the jump button. Your power-up is shown in the top.
It's a cool little power up.
Looks like you're ready, Sparks. If you need any more
These gems look funny from above. Do. Looks impenetrable. We must cut off the source of the power. Oh, that was just health. Lame. Do. Wasted all our special powers. Do. We got hit. You know what? Let's see what these are. Yeah, I thought that was health. We'll save that other one for later. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Ooh, what is that? Are they bouncy balls? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do. Video games at the end of a long day. Do 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 do. Ooh, it's boss time. There we go. Oh, that was just health. Oh. We did it! That's a really tiny dragon if you think about it. Level complete. Do, 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 do. I'm glad we came back to World 1. I mean, the extra lives aside, this is, we found things we missed. Like, and not small things either. An entire mode. Do, do, do. Just imagine if I went back and played Zelda. It'd be like a whole new game if I, you know, walked around and talked to people. And did the side quests.
Nice work, Sparks. You've beaten the Crawdad King and found the lost egg. Not only that, but some of the dragon magic seems to have rubbed off on you.
Oh.
Now you can pick up gems when they're even further away from Spyro.
Nice. So we got an upgrade too? Still got a head bash or rock though. Sheep. Maybe it's underwater? Can't really head bash underwater. If I was a rock that needed my head bash, I mean that one has such potential. About that rock right there. No. Shouldn't be this hard to find. What if it's in that cave again? Or maybe we have to fly out of the cave? For something up high, maybe? Still wonder if it's that rock right there, but... Flying out does not seem to be a good option. Head bash a rock. There's so many rocks. And the closest one to looking damaged is this one. Oh, I suppose I can do a quick recap of what I did at the top of stream. So, I kind of talked through where my brain was going, but let me pull it back up and I'll talk through it one more time for you, Nate, and maybe you will see something I don't, because it happens. Because I am pretty certain I know more than I knew, which is good. But I still don't know. Something in all of it doesn't make sense. No. It's fine. I got a little bit of time here. And it might mean that I end here and go upstairs and actually go back to work on this, because it'll put my brain back into that mode. But, okay. So I think, and again, there's still a very, very small chance that I'm wrong about this, but I think what we have established is that packet number 4 determines which magic band the following messages are able to communicate with. I think we are all on the same page with that, right? You swap out packet 4, life is good. And packet 4 is the Alexa Discover packet. This packet right here. Now, this is a JSON representation of it, but for all practical purposes, that is the packet, right? And then we get this response back. Okay. And also, again, same thing, JSON response. Okay. And we know that the response is not what is controlling things, right? Because it has to be what we're setting. And what I started doing is I started going through the code bit by bit, trying to figure out, and I've done this a few times, but I took another pass at it, and I went through specifically trying to figure out where these things are getting set, how they're behaving, all that fun stuff. And I just wanted, a few things happened, and I'll just talk through what I found out. I ended up somewhere in the code, I'm not going to try to find it again in the debugger or whatever, for the thing that is making the Discover response packet. And what I learned there that I found kind of interesting, and I don't know how I had never noticed this before, but this string is hard-coded. So it outputs it every time. Like, that's not a variable in the function that does this. This is hard-coded. In fact, this message ID right here is hard-coded in the output. The 3 is hard-coded in the output for this packet. And then this is the only thing that's not hard-coded in the response. And if you notice when I highlighted it, it happens to be right here. And if I'm to believe the Amazon spec, and this is not guaranteed, but if I was to believe the Amazon spec, this appears to be a session ID of some sort. So I made a note earlier tonight of things I want to try the next time I'm playing around, and that is to test if the discovery response always comes back the same as string 4 in the discovery pack. Meaning, if this is anything, this is the output. Because if it is, then we've established what that is. That is the session ID. And based on going through the code, it doesn't really look like it checks anything about this value other than maybe its length, or that it's 32 bytes, or 32 bytes, 32 bits, bytes. So yeah, that's really the only. So this one, I am 99% certain is the session ID. So that was note number 1 that I came through. Now I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly because I've already done it once tonight, but I'm gonna do it one more time for the fun of it, and see if we end up in the same spot. So, this right here is process directive. You named that one. And this is our function that is doing everything. And if you remember correctly, I said something at one point in time, and I didn't give it much thought at the time, but I think it's now coming back to haunt me a little bit. And that was that it doesn't seem to matter what I put into these 3 fields. No matter what I seem to do, I get a response, a discover response, which has now made there's a little bit more sense making to this, and you'll see why in just a second. So line 37, create parse directive from stream. This takes in a stream, and this is its return variable. This is local 48 is what it returns to, and that is an array. So parse directive is essentially 3 arrays. It contains the header in 0, it contains the endpoint pointer in 1, and it contains the payload pointer in 2 for everything that is in the packet. Now, the discover packet doesn't have a payload, so it's kind of a non-issue, but it contains these other 2. But here's where things get a little bit funny. So we get down here, we zero out, we establish our parameters. We then launch up nano PB, and we pass in the stream. We do some stuff with that, and then we get into a nice little loop to actually handle the process for this whole thing, and we're decoding tags. And I did take the time to actually, I think, figure this whole thing out. So if we dive into there, we've got an input stream, a wire number, a field number, and parameter 4 is a flag that I don't fully understand, but it's not relevant to what we're talking about right now. But the point is, it runs this, and like this is like decoding a variable length int. Like this is all PB, nano PB type stuff. Like I'm betting this might be even 1-to-1 with nano PB somewhere at that point. So we're decoding the tag, and depending on how it comes back, we may return that value, that kind of thing. And we'll create the memory allocations for it. We will only allow for one endpoint. So when we get to the parse directive here, it sets it to 0, and then it does a check here. If it's not 0, throw us an error that it found multiple endpoints. We don't have that problem. We're not getting stuck in any of this. The one interesting thing in here that might still have meaning is I labeled this check param 2 or use default key. This particular function looks, and I'm not going to go into all the details here in terms of like decode payload and stuff like that, but it kind of looks like it shoves some stuff into it's this DAT here, this local 14 this DAT right here, this local 14, it looks like it's doing something with the data and putting it somewhere that maybe it can analyze it later, but I can't find any reason for this to be our endpoint, because this is more about payloads than it is endpoints once we're down into this check param2 or use default key. And param2 is just the parameter here. And the default key is whatever it was seeing in the menu. But this 9, that's one thing that I still need to dive a little bit deeper in. But then, assuming that that's still nothing, so we're decoding it, we're processing it a little bit more, and then we have some memory cleanup functions here, and then we return. And there is some other memory allocation for decoding. So that was specifically for decoding the endpoints, and then we have stuff for decoding the payload. And again, you'll see that same check or use key thing down here. Again, that's how I've been interpreting it, but again, it might be incorrect. And then we do some more memory stuff that I don't fully understand why we set things to what they're being set to. I haven't figured all that out yet. But it's all memory management that looks like it's initializing, that kind of thing. And then we get out of Dodge. That, the code is done here. And all of that happens, right? Like, to my knowledge, we don't get any errors. We don't get any, there's nothing to be concerned about. The decoding next tag, anything like that. And we get our endpoint. We run down here. Did we dive into this? That's pulling in the value for the endpoint, which is fine. Decode endpoint might still need to be looked at too. And this DAT might still need to be looked at. So these two lines, I think, were still on my list of things I need to understand exactly what it's doing. But what I did want to emphasize was that at no point in time have I flat out seen something that looks like any sort of validation, or even for the most part a long-term storage thing, like where it's storing that value as a global, or as a DAT or something like that, where it's hanging around. Again, this one maybe is the one exception to that, but there's not a whole lot going on. And again, we're talking about well, theoretically probably this parse directive 1 more than anything. And it kind of just, like, it seems like, at least to me, that nothing happens with it. Like, that's the piece of the puzzle that I don't understand. That at no point in time, as part of this parse function, does it seem like anything is happening other than that it's parsing it and getting it put into memory into this parse directive array. Like, I'm not seeing anything that says we're actually doing logic processing on certain fields, if that makes sense. Maybe there might be a small exception with the endpoint, which the endpoint is where we're having trouble. So I need to go dive just a little bit deeper there. That's where I'm looking right this second. But as far as the function is concerned, it returns those values right here, right? And sends it there. And then we start doing some error checking. And if it failed to parse, it jumps down there. And then we do a string comparison. And if it contains alexa.discovery, we continue. And then if it contains discover, we continue. Have you tried looking at where the parts get called and see what functions follow? Yeah. No. Watch what happens here, because it's intriguing, at least to me. So it checks for Alexa discovery, it checks discover, and then it sends the discovery response. Okay? At no point does any of this between here and here look like it's doing anything of merit with those other two parameters. Okay? You don't see it come back to local 48 and do local 48 1, which 1 is where we would need to be looking, right? It just sends the discovery response, which this is the second note about this. When I said, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, when I said that the discovery response, I am pretty certain, and I put this in my notes as something I want to test. I am pretty certain to test and confirm you can send anything you want in for string 3, string 4, and string 1. So these, all 4 of these, and you're still going to get the Alexa discovery response. Okay? Like, it's not, as far as I can tell, there is nothing that is being done that would stop the response from happening other than if you got rid of these things here or you broke the structure, right? Again, that's a test I want to run to confirm that I'm not crazy, but I'm pretty certain it's true, which messes with my conception as a programmer. That doesn't make sense, because we still are saying that this packet is the packet that's causing us our trouble. So what in the world is going on here? Why are those things? So my brain went to, well, okay, if it's not happening when we're parsing it, and again, it still might be. Don't say that it's eliminated. I'm not 100% certain that it's not sticking it somewhere in memory that it's able to get at it later. But so far, it, like, what I've seen does not feel like that's what's going on here. So that's kind of my first note. The second note is then where it gets even weirder. So my thought was maybe something happens after it sends the discovery packet. Didn't you find that previously? And it still responded? Yes. And that was confusing me at the time. Same logic, because I couldn't understand how that made any sense. How I could send, but I wasn't really testing it at that point. It was just something I did. And yes, I thought I did that on stream, or at least zeroed out some of them. And I don't know that I tested all of it, but yes, I'm pretty certain the discovery happens no matter what. But here's where it gets even weirder. So my natural reaction was, okay, so it parsed it, it sent the discovery. We still have those other 2 values that are lingering around in local 48. So maybe they did something after, right? Maybe they parsed it after sending the discovery packet. They just decided to do it in a weird order from what I would have considered doing, right? And so if you follow the code, the next thing that happens is it takes the value of the discovery response, which for all practical purposes is going to be 0 because it succeeded. And at least I'm pretty certain that 0 is the prominent outcome here. And you'll see why here in a second. So it gets 0, and it puts it into local 28.0, which, as far as I'm concerned, is meaningless. It's already 0 anyway. Or if it's an error, it puts it in there. And if ivar1 is 0, or another way to say that, if local 28 is 0, go to what I've affectionately labeled cleanup time, where we end up down here and it runs garbage cleanup on the local variables for the thing, and it returns 0, meaning success. Right? But it does not. The part that has me confused is we have these params up here. It never shoves, like local 48 is never pushed into a param, and local 48 is never tied to a param. It's not getting shoved back anywhere. It's not returning what it parsed out to anywhere else that makes sense. At least not that I'm able to determine. And if we then go backwards and we start going backwards from process directive, there's nothing that I'm seeing. Which, and if I'm wrong, if somewhere in here I'm wrong and this decides to somehow skip over this, and I don't see any way that it could have, I mean, if it gets past cleanup time, it gets to error time, which is equally as bad, and it can't get out past this if statement because that gets us into other commands, right? So where I am frustrated, and again, I might there's still a small chance that I am missing something, and I am going through this like a fine-tooth comb right now, but I don't see where, oh, this is send discovery. Oh, and Send Discovery doesn't look like it does anything funny either. By the way, I'll just add that as well. Like, I don't see it store anything in weird places. Now, that one I haven't gone through as much as a fine-tooth comb yet, and that will be where I look next if I can't find it. It seems like a little bit of a weird place to put it. But it is, I mean, there are memory allocations back here and stuff like that for building out the discovery packet. And actually, if I follow this, I did do a little, this was a little bit, this is where it's hard-coded. So you can see it, Alexa Discovery, Discover Response, hard-coded message ID, hard-coded version, not hard-coded parameter 1, and parameter 1 is our session ID. So it intrigues me. What I do need to go through, and it's all this other stuff that's in here, and this is why I've been starting to look here. It could absolutely be processor or compiler shenanigans, and in fact, even right here, the hard-coded stuff all comes first, and then the one non-hard-coded thing comes next, even though that's not the order they get attached to everything. But so what I want to do is I want to go through all of this and figure out like where this is coming from. Raiders? No, Ninja, we were just wrapping up. See, this is why I should have stopped. I didn't stop early enough. That's okay though. Welcome on in, Raiders. We're just talking code again. We just got done with Spyro, so went a little long here. Thought we were going to be short tonight. But yeah, you did get me. But like this one, there's a few values in here that I need to really spend some time with. Like, I know what that is. I'm guessing this is hard-coded somewhere. Right? Like, just trying to find some of those values and seeing where did this come from, right? That's kind of the game I've started playing, which is why I don't know, it's gotten interesting for me at least. This 53, I'm pretty sure that's the version number that we're on, right? I don't know what this is, and it's weird because it shows up in the packet before it, but that doesn't mean we send it to it in the packet before it. But that doesn't mean anything. No, we don't send it. We get a response. It's another reply. Yeah, I'll just say, I guess that's where I'm at. Is I've eliminated a whole lot of stuff, but it's now either whatever it is doing, it is either in the send code for discovery, or it's in that one small little spot within the decoder for the endpoint, and it might be something like this, where it's allocating ivar2. Here's the parse directive 1, which is the header, and this function I have labeled likely memset because it looks like it's building out memory type stuff, and then assigning it to a memory location that maybe has some meaning, but that 3053 one had you confused too. Firmware version, and wasn't the file called like 53.hex? Yeah, 53, or that's what I saved it as, 53.hex, because that was what it was when it downloaded or something. So yeah, I definitely think 53 is the version. So lots of gained knowledge, not anything practical just yet. But I just keep, for lack of a better way of saying it, iterating over it and hoping that I stumble into, and I'm actually going to leave this part highlighted because this actually does, yeah, 53.gbl. Yeah, exactly. Which makes me think we could probably download 30.gbl if we had the same parameters, which might be kind of fun. Or we could probably download all of them, to be honest. If we the S3 key storage system's a little bit weird though, and I don't know, depending on how they authorize the key for the download, I don't know if we could actually reuse it. There are ways that if they had done it, we could, but because they're using the storage system that they're using is Amazon S3. It is definitely an S3 based time-based release, so that the app is giving you a, like, if you just put that URL into any old browser, it's gonna come up forbidden, but it's generating a URL for you. And I don't remember if the parameters, depending on how secure they went, it is possible that they lock it to the specific file, which means that URL will only ever work for that one situation. So, that said, oh yeah, I would love to see the difference between anything. We'll just wait for 54 to come out, though. As soon as 54 comes out, we'll get something else. Heck, we could start keeping a version log of what's different between these things. Oh yeah, they added some more LED patterns. Oh yeah, they added whatever. Be kind of fun. So this does, where does Ivar, so it goes to iStack 54. Interesting. So it does put that on the stack. That still doesn't do anything with it. But I have yet to see anything, though, and I want to circle back to it as well. I have yet to see anything that tries to cross-compare what was sent. There was something, and this will be my last little note here before I sign off for the evening. At this point in time, I am pretty convinced it's this one and not this one that matters. Call it a little bit of a hunch, but if we're following the actual Alexa discovery thing, this, in theory, should be the message ID, which is the equivalent of this one right here. So, drawing parallels between this packet and this packet, this one should be this. And again, shouldn't matter what it is, as long as, and it doesn't even have to be unique. It just shouldn't matter what it is. Which brings me back to, it should be this one. And I have some tests that I want to run a little bit more closely, like every time I call the Discover, does this number ever change? And I think it does, but I don't know that I've been paying close enough attention sometimes. So, yeah, I would be focusing on that. If you figure out what's generating that and how it turns itself into a serial number, because I think that, and when I say serial number, I mean this number, not the DSN. I think this somehow correlates to this, and I don't know how. I think that's the magic trick. If we can figure it out, we'll be in good shape. So that, yeah, close. In any case, I'm going to wrap it up there. I am not going to pass the raid along because I would have sent it to Ninja Weasel Plays, and I'm being lazy tonight. So with that, I appreciate you all. Ninja, thanks for the late raid. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, probably at the normal time. I don't know why it wouldn't be. And until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and until next trip, see ya.